Welcome to Seahawks Draft Blog live stream, instant reaction. Rob Staten, Robbie Williams here after the Seahawks just hammered. You know, what is the term that you use in America, Robbie? Belt to arse. What a performance, man. What a performance. Anyway, before we get started, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Why wouldn't you want to subscribe to the channel headed into the playoffs, which the Seahawks will be playing in next weekend because they have a bye. They are the #1 seed in the NFC. So subscribe. Like the video, super chat away if you want to have a comment. And why wouldn't you want to have a comment after that? I mean, unbelievable performance. Could have been 40 points to 3. It was that much of an arse kicking. Robbie, we will settle for 13-3. We'll be generous to the 49ers. What a win, Robbie. What a win. What a weekend already.
What a win. Phenomenal. Great to get the W. I was nervous about the game the whole time. Kept just getting pissed that we were letting them stay in the game. But man, what a win. Stoked. The interception, I jumped out of my seat. I was so excited about that because I was like, man, if they score a touchdown here, it would be worse. And man, it just phenomenal. I'm so excited. #1 seed, first round bye. I mean, can you get any better? Look at that. Look at that super chat. Come on. Let's go.
Man, I'm overjoyed with it, Robbie, because it just feels to me as if we've been on a real journey over the years, you and I. And I feel like we kind of, those of us who've been part of this community in particular have kind of gone through a lot. And this is what we wanted to see, an ultra physical Seahawks team that could just, go to a 12-win Niners team who, yes, you can point to all the players that are injured, Robbie, and all of that. They were still beating everybody every week. Look at what they did to the Bears. People like the Bears. The Bears have had a really good season. The Bears have won some big games. The Bears are double-digit wins themselves. They couldn't stop anything from the 49ers last week. Robbie, no one's been able to stop Kyle Shanahan. He had 3 points today. Now, I know Trent Williams is good, but so is Christian McCaffrey. So is George Kittle. So is Brock Purdy. So is Juwan Jennings. Trent Williams was not the difference between the Niners scoring 30 points today and the Niners scoring 3. They scored 3 points, Robbie. They had one drive in the whole game, and that ended up in a tip pass interception for Drake Thomas. That is an unbelievable performance. That defense, man, just watching that today, that was a championship-winning defense. That's a defensive performance that makes you think they can win 2 home games, Robbie, and get to the Super Bowl. That's it now. Can this, with the noise and everything, Can they get to the Super Bowl with this defense? Yes, they can. And running the ball like that, they ran for 180-odd yards or something. Robbie, they can do this. That's the kind of thing we've been waiting all year for. For me, the Rams game wasn't necessarily a kind of statement win. It wasn't something that, afterwards I felt we've arrived. This is the thing that's going to drive us on. It felt a little bit lucky with the way that it all kind of fell about in the end. There's nothing lucky about this. That was just an absolute domination of a team that was contending for the #1 seed in the NFC with a coach of the year candidate running that offense. He got 3 freaking points, Robbie. 3 points.
Yeah. Listen, I hate giving Niners any sort of credit, but they've been playing really well. They've had a lot of injuries, but man, how good does it feel just to beat that team? It's so good. I cannot stand that team. Everything about them they just piss me off. So I just it's the perfect rivalry, and I actually love that it was them. We had to go to their backyard and beat them on their turf. And again, yeah, they had they had injuries, but we had to get it done, and we did. And 13-3, holding that offense to 3 points. I mean, yeah, you're right. Look what they just did to the Bears. The Bears put up. I'll say this. Nick Mori, having him back is huge because he only played a little bit in the first game, and the one that we were at. So to have this be full circle and watch him come out and just crush it was phenomenal.
So I'm having a look now, Robbie, and Nick Mori deserves more of a discussion. So I'll come back to him in a second. But the Niners had 496 yards of offense last week. 4 shy of 500 yards of offense. Today, 173 yards. 173 yards. And that's unbelievable. I don't know if you saw the video, Robbie. I definitely saw this last week when the the defense was waiting in the tunnel to take the field against Carolina, and Jaron Reed stood at the front, and all the defenders are barking like dogs. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. And honestly, that's what they're playing like that. They are honestly playing like a bunch of pit bull terriers who are just getting after it. They don't have sort of the Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby edge rusher who is just going to take over a game. They don't have that. But what they do have is just they have their version of, oh, wow, there's Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner in the middle and guys who can rotate in, and Javon Hargrave's in there as well. They have just got so many dogs on that defensive line. And you just let them off the leash, Robbie, and you throw a stake down there and you say, get after it. The football's a stake. And they're a bunch of dogs getting after it, man. Like it's a pleasure to watch. And then at the second level, you mentioned Nick Mori just flying to the football, that combination of size and hitting. The tackling in the open field today was really good. Devin Witherspoon's hitting. Tariq Woolen's playing better.
Josh Jobe getting in, making plays.
The fact safeties were not really tested because
there
was no chance for Brock Purdy to test them. They're in his face all the time. God, what a defense, Robbie. And they're playing a brand of football that I want to watch. That's the kind of football. I don't care. The 13th or whatever. I love a bit of defensive football. That to me was like watching Alabama play 15 years ago or whatever it was, 2011, 2012. Like if I was a Niners fan, I'd feel absolutely beat up. I'd feel like I'd taken a couple of hits if I was a Niners fan watching that, because how do you come back from that? Like your linebackers are now injured as well because of the way that Seattle just dominated up front. And give the offensive line some credit as well. Like give the offensive line some credit, because people can talk about, there was that whiff there and there was the Josh Jones gave up a sack and all of that. Robbie, they absolutely beat the crap out of the Niners defensive line. They dominated. They took the soul. Abe Lucas standing there looking like an absolute man mountain. Just the look in his eye like, I'm going to take your soul today. That's exactly what you want to see. Trenches football, Robbie. It didn't need, and there are all sorts of things we could quibble about, like what the hell was that play call at the end to throw that pass that nearly got intercepted, that Sam Darnold was rolling to his left, and Myers suddenly found like perhaps the ideal game to get a couple of crap kicks out the way, because you can't be having him do that in the playoffs. And they could have finished a couple of other drives in a better way, Robbie. But the rest of the NFL just watched that and thought, I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that at all. Fantastic. What a game, Robbie. Unbelievable. Love it.
And how good does it feel to watch our running backs get going right now? You just said credit the offensive line too, but like they're opening the holes for the running backs, and does it feel like we're getting the running game going just like at the right time? We've been waiting for it all season, right? And it feels like the last 2-3 games it's starting to click, starting to come together. Man, it just feels good. It just feels like we're starting to hit all the cylinders. And I'll tell you, Rob, I'm going out there in 2 weeks. I'm going out there. I've already decided it's happened. I'm doing it.
I don't think I should, because I'm
going. I'm going.
I am a big old curse, and Robbie, I hope you have a great time. I don't know if I should do it, because it's just if they lost, I would feel completely responsible for that. So I don't know, but look, I get out there, man, and go and cheer for me if you do. I just don't know if I can risk it. I don't want to be the wrong responsible. I wanted to put this up, Robbie, because if you'd have said to me today, what kind of game it's going to be, my answer would have been, I haven't got a clue. Like I could imagine Adam. We should mention this. Adam was very bullish before the game. Like he was saying it's going to be a hammering. And I don't know if that was just bravado or whether that was he legitimately thinking this is what was going to happen today. But if he was legitimately thinking that, Robbie, he called it spot on. And I definitely was a lot more nervous than he was. I didn't know what kind of game it was going to be, but I just had a horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach and was pacing before the first kickoff. And my wife is not usually awake when these games kick off, which she was today because her sleep pattern's been screwed up by Christmas and New Year. And, she was like saying goodnight. And I'm like, I just couldn't settle away. I couldn't sit down. And that's the first time I have felt that way since 2016, 2015. I haven't felt like this amped for a game in that amount of time. And I both hated and loved every second of that feeling. Loved it.
Because there's actually something to play for. When was the last time we were playing for the number 1 seed, right? In a first round bye?
I can't barely believe it. If you'd have said to us when we were watching the last time we played the Niners, they're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, what would you have said?
No. Dude, we were together. We were walking from the stadium back to your hotel talking about how this could be a long season.
Just think about how, like, if you could have just put an arm around us then that day when we were in that, when they let us borrow that hotel room to do that stream after the game in person, and they said they're going to get the number 1 seed, man. And there was 5 minutes left, and they put up the thing on ESPN. I put the stats, but I haven't even talked about them yet. They put the thing up on ESPN that showed the ranking, and it had Seattle number 1. I thought, oh, we're 5 minutes away from the number 1 seed. Please just finish this off, because Robbie, if they'd have finished as the number 5 seed and not got to the Super Bowl, I think we'd have always been wondering what could have been. And I feel that if you're a Lions fan right now, you probably feel that way a little bit. Like, you've had a couple of great chances to win the Super Bowl and haven't taken it. And I don't want to have it. If we don't get there, I don't want to be wondering what if. And I feel like when you win the number 1 seed, you're less likely to feel that way. Like, if you lose to whoever you're going to lose against, in a couple of weeks, and it could be the Niners again, it could be the Rams. Like, that'll be a tough game, and you might lose that one. But the fact you don't have to play in wild card round, we're going to have a divisional round game in Seattle, man. Like, if they get to the NFC Championship game, it's going to be in Seattle. It's just, I just love that, man. I could not be happier about this. I can't believe it, Robbie. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I've got working. I have to be working less than 5 hours. I'm not going to sleep, man.
Get a week to get healthy and just watch some football, and then man, how just stoked, man.
I almost got a big bottle of champagne out the fridge to drink while we were doing this stream, and then I remember that I have work like tomorrow. If this was tomorrow night, that would have been coming out, man. I'll tell you now. So anyway, I want to look through these stats, because 23 first downs to 9 for the Niners. If coming into the game, what's the Niners' biggest threat? It's Christian McCaffrey. You've got to watch out for him. They had 1 rushing first down the whole game, and McCaffrey ended up with nothing. Like, Ken Walker's, at one point, Curtis said that Ken Walker had more rushing yards than the Niners had total yards on offense. Like, obviously, I think they must have usurped that in the end, but not by much. Total yards, 361 plays, 173. The offense still did a job, Robbie. It wasn't completely clean. My heart was in the mouth when Jalen Sundell stood on Sam Darnold's foot and the ball came out. You're thinking, is that going to be the game-changing moment? But got a bit of fumble up there. You need a bit of that sometimes. Look, total drives 9 play 8. So it's not like sometimes with a game like this, it's because freaky kind of weird things happen and you steal possessions. That's not, 9 drives to 8. It just speaks to the total domination. Brock Purdy, 120 passing yards in the end. What was the third down percentage? So they were 2 of 9. This is a Kyle Shanahan offense, man. They were the best on third down, converting third downs in the NFL coming to this game. They kept telling us that on the TV. Just and what was that? No turnovers? No turnovers, Robbie. 0 turnovers. How good is that? We've been worrying about that. No, not a single turnover, man.
Yeah. I mean, they had said it on TV, it was like third quarter or something like, and Sam Darnold hasn't turned it over yet. And I was like, knock on wood. I was like, find something, man. Like, don't say that.
Troy Aikman said, isn't he playing well? Like, this is a great performance. And that's when the fumble with the Sundell standing on the foot happened straight after
Jinxed
that.
us.
It's just so good, Robbie, to be number 1. I know, and to believe, like, we get to spend the next 2 weeks now. Look, the Lions fans will have felt exactly how we're feeling now. Okay, and maybe they'll have felt even more confident last year because they were like, a 15-win team, and they'd been building over a bit more time, and it felt like maybe destiny for them. And then they lost to the Commanders, who have completely collapsed since that win. So there's no guarantee that in 2 weeks we'll be sat here doing a stream, Robbie, and talking about, the NFC Championship game, amazing. Like that, it can, pride comes before a fall, but we get 2 weeks to at least enjoy this now. 2 weeks to sit back and enjoy. I'm going to watch this game again. I can't remember the last time I watched a whole game all the way through. I mean, it'll be condensed. There won't be the commercials there. But by the way, Robbie, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I mentioned it in the chat because as people have been mentioning it, I was talking a lot in the Seahawks draft blog comment section because I was that freaking nervous. I needed to just let off some energy by typing a lot. British TV went to a commercial before the 3rd and 10 conversion to Cooper Kupp at the end of that game. And they didn't come back in time. So when they came back, Cooper Kupp was running up the field with the football on a replay. And I was thinking, is that from earlier today? Like, when did that happen? And then they were lining up on 1st and 10. I was like, we missed the whole thing. I had to go back on the zone on my laptop to watch what had happened. It's a great play. It's a really good play from Darnold. So, it's just such a good feeling, man. I know we keep saying it, and they've built a good team. They've built a really aggressive team. I think this is the kind of team, we're talking about. Max Crosby a lot. How can Max Crosby not watch that and say, "Get me in the Seattle next year, man"? Like whatever happens the rest of this
I hope
way.
so.
Like he'll have been watching that, saying, "Like that's the team I want to play for, man." Like you don't want to play anywhere else. And we should talk a bit about the potential opponents in the NFC and stuff like that before we finish this stream. But we have an obscene amount of super chats, Robbie, and I want to try and get through them. So, and some of them are amazing. So let's go. David says, commission on division champ bet, men versus boys, LFG. I had a bet on the Seahawks to win the NFC West, Robbie. I can't remember how much I'm getting, but I had a bet on them, and they were the 4th favorite to win this division. They were the 4th favorite to win this division before the season began. They've won the division with 14 wins, franchise record.
You're going to have to circle back and let us know what you got on that.
The odds were good.
Yeah.
And it was 20 quid. So the drinks are on me.
There you go.
Albert says, does this shirt make me look like he's got a Seahawks draft blog shirt on, man? I love that. Yeah, you can get those. They're underneath the video. Albert, top man, big supporter of the channel and the blog. Thank you for the super chat. Ye of little faith. I have been saying it all week. What happens if we shut down their offense? Is the rest of the team good enough? Honestly, not. Clutch throw by Darnold. Offensive line dominated. I don't think it was necessarily that I had little faith, but in a big game like this, I am nervous, Robbie. I'll be nervous in the playoff games as well. I am not one who sits back and thinks we've got this made. And they could have easily, they allowed San Fran to stick around long enough where we've seen games where you allow someone to stick around. That Packers NFC Championship game is a good example of that. And you get bit on the arse. I mean, look at the Rams game. So I think, understandably not sort of just taking it as a given that they were going to win this game. Felt they had a good chance, but
I'm always nervous anytime we play an NFC West opponent.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
Yeah, right. Just the way it goes.
It's fine. S the Great 32. Thank you for that 199. Hawk Manny 24. Unbelievable super chat. Really appreciate that, man. Amazing game and amazing coverage all regular season long, guys. Enjoy the bye week. Thank you, man. I'm really massively appreciative of that. Thank you so much. And you know what? On the coverage now that it is officially the end of the regular season for the Seahawks, I should shout out not only to Robbie, but to Adam for putting up with me after the games, and also to Curtis for the great work that Curtis has done all year with his game previews. He's been unbelievable. He's probably the real MVP actually of the blog. Silk Monkey says, F the Niners. I don't even feel bad for Rob having to do the BBC radio call tomorrow morning. Let's go Hawks. Now, don't feel bad for me. I am going to glide to work at 9 o'clock. Now, if they'd have lost that game, I cannot even think what I would have been like in front of other people tomorrow if they'd have lost this game, having played the way they did for that just dominated. So the fact that they've won, that will be all of the energy drink that I need tomorrow for work. Milkshake Man says, John Schneider's armpit sweat was legendary, as was this season and your coverage. You did a great job at reading the team's change of direction and analysing their choices thoroughly and fairly. Let's go win a Super Bowl. John Schneider has done an unbelievable job, and great to see him up in the booth celebrating. And Jody Allen was right there as well, and I'm sure Burt Cole will have been there. And Robbie, they deserve a lot of praise. They deserve a ton of praise from this fan base. We should celebrate them. There's been a lot of question marks asked. We were asking them. There was a point when I thought, would they ever be prepared to make a bold move? They answered that question a couple of years ago, Robbie, and look where we are now. Like, and nothing's won. Nothing's finished. And Ken Walker was making that point. This is just the next game, and they've got one in a couple of weeks. But my word, Robbie, to be sat here talking about they're not trying to get their 7th seed by like beating the Cardinals and hoping Green Bay beat the Lions or whatever it was.
Right.
Like, they're the number 1 seed, man.
Yeah. And listen, John deserves a lot of credit. I think he deserves the GM of the year or whatever award that is.
Cool. Exactly.
I mean, there should be no reason anybody else should get it, right? He made a couple of really bold moves and it's paid off. I mean, as of right now, we have the best record in the NFL.
And nothing will change that.
Yeah.
Like, nothing will change that because our strength of schedule is harder than the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Broncos win tomorrow, it means diddly squat because they've had a much easier schedule than we have. So they are the top team after the regular season's finished. Now it's time to go and be the top team for the whole thing and win a Super Bowl. John should be exec of the year. Nobody else should even come close, in my opinion. And people go, oh, Elliot Wolf. That's a Mike Vrabel thing for me. Mike Vrabel has turned that team around. He's a great head coach. I can't think of anybody. Sean Payton has done a very good job, but they've had a schedule where they've beaten like some of the NFL's worst teams, like with luck, like the Jets and the Giants. They fluked the way to wins against terrible teams. The Raiders, they struggled against the Raiders, for crying out loud. John made some big calls and has completely turned this around with Mike McDonald. Jeff Smock says, if we learned anything tonight, not even the Seahawks can beat the Seahawks right now. Wow. Well, that's true enough. They win in every kind of way, and that's a good thing, I think. Hunter says, I'm genuinely so happy, and that's an emoji with tears in his eyes. I'm genuine. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm quite happy as well. Like, this is a real. I'm just overjoyed with this. I loved every second of like watching us just smash the Niners. Addy Field says, just cashed in a 9-1 preseason bet on the Hawks winning the division. Congratulations. Showing my favorite Hawks creator some love. The most in control game that was never fully in control with regards to the score. Go Hawks. That's a great way of putting it. Because it was, Robbie. Like, afterwards, you can go, it was never in doubt. It never felt that way until the final 4th down failed conversion by the Niners. And then you kind of go, yeah, that could have been 35-3. Yep. 43. Easily, man.
Easy. Yeah.
We have 39 super chats, so I'm going to try and get through them with so many, and then we'll talk a bit. There's the running backs I want to talk about, and there's Nick and Mori I want to talk about in particular before we finish, and the other NFC teams. Maybe the Rams win, and tonight combines for a signature win. Great D. I think tonight was a signature win on its own, but we needed them to win the big games. They beat the Rams and the Niners. Question answered for me. Don't need to worry about that anymore. And I was worried about it. I will not worry about it anymore. Great D and clutch 3rd and long. Bring on the bye. Thanks, Rob and team, for all the great content this season. Mike, thank you very much. Much appreciated for that. This from S the Great 32. Dominant defense. Welcome to the dark side. What are your thoughts on that nickname, Robbie? I think they've decided they're going to call themselves, the dark side.
I'm fine with it. I don't really care what they call themselves.
I'm not a big nickname person, apart from Beast Mode. That was a good nickname, but an LOB. I think that when that was first introduced, I was like, it's a bit naff, but eventually it stuck and it worked. Kyle, with this defense, we're playing a game in that stadium in a few weeks. It's an amazing thought. It's an amazing thought. Josh says, what wins you playoff games? Defense and running game. Very true. Both are at an elite level right now. Darnold is ghost-free in big games as well. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't a flawless performance, but he did what he had to do. And he made some big throws. Like, we can focus on the near interception at the end or not scoring that touchdown when Zach Charbonnet was wide open, Robbie, on the first drive. He made some massive throws today. Like, there were some big throws that he got the job done on. And that's all we need him to do. We don't need him to be Josh Allen, Superman. We just need him to make the plays that he needs to keep things ticking along. My favorite thing about this, says Derek, has been racing onto YouTube after each win to hear from Rob and Robbie 14 times and counting. Derek, thank you for that. Much appreciated. Thank you for your support on the super chat. T. Matlow says the last hit on Purdy was a going away gift. He was knocked around tonight. And Aikman kept saying this. If the Niners have to play next week, Robbie, that's tough for them because they were smashed around tonight, especially that quarterback.
Yeah.
Are they going to Philly next week? Philly or Chicago?
It'll be, let's see.
We'll come on to it. We're going to look well. We'll have a deep dive on that. Stan Darnold here. Epic. Is that the actual guy? Please tell me that is actually Stan Darnold. He's got the picture, Robbie. I think it might be him. Honestly, this
is that really him?
I think it's him. Like, how else would he have that picture? I think that's the guy.
No way.
A celebrity is with us.
Yeah.
If that's really him, that's just made the night even better. Like, Stan.
Stan, is that really you?
The fact that I was watching you on our TV and the replay and everything like that, if I'd have known that he watched any of our, even knew who he existed, Robbie, I could have turned to my wife and like, look, there's that guy. He's there. I can't wait. I can't wait to tell my wife, because I was like, look at him. He's to say Sam Darnold's clone. And I can say he sent us a super chat. I really hope it's him. I hope he can drop a message in the chat. Keep an eye on it for me, Robbie, because I'm in a different chat group for the super chats. And let me see. And he says if he confirms it is him. That is, I'm getting way too excited about that. But
I will. But I will say, I'll tell everyone who's watching. When I was walking around Seattle with Rob, we got stopped all the time because people recognized him. So it made me feel like a little bit of a celebrity. So go ahead.
This from Jeremy says, what a performance. Any concern about the bye week and losing momentum? We'll love to hear Lenoir talking now. Yeah, he's Jawan Jennings is even worse for that stuff. So good to see him get an absolute hammering from Drake Thomas early in that game. On a separate note, can you give us a number 1 seed celebratory dance? I'm not much of a dancer. I'm too tall to dance. I don't know what kind of a dance we. Can you do a dance, Robbie?
I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. There you go.
There you go.
Hit it with the sprinkler. Love it.
Any concern about the bye week, Robbie? I am not concerned because I think I'm right in saying Mike McDonald's record in bye. Pete never really had a great record on the byes, but I think Mike McDonald's is pretty good. I'm sure Brian said that on one of the collective shows we did. I just feel like if you give him an extra week, like to rest up and then an extra week to prep, he'll be good to go. I'm not too concerned about that. I reserve the right to change that opinion after the next game. Sully says, we can do it. No team wants a sniff of RD. Go Hawks from the Mank Hawk. He's from Manchester. Looks like half of my family are from Manchester. So good to have you with us. Arliss with a super chat. No comment, but thank you very much for that. Washington Fish Quest says kite for MVP. Yeah, that was. I think he played a snap or two. So good for him. He helped out. This from PSIS, I think it is, or PSI Sabbath. Rob, thanks for betting tips before the season. Won some dollars. No problem at all. I was convinced that they would be in the mix. I did not think it would take winning 14 games to necessarily win the NFC West. That's what it needed. Every one of those in the end. But I was confident they would do it. So I'm glad it helped. Nico says, I dare the 49ers to win the wild card. We wait for that sorry-ass team to visit Lumen Field. Let's go 12s. I will come back to that, Robbie. I want your view on whether you would welcome them back. Shane says, great season, guys. If the D plays like this, we're going to be popping some champagne in February. Really hope so, Shane. Big thank you for that. Shanahan simply outclassed by Mike. Max says, Josh, indeed. Big thank you to, I can't begin to even start with that name, but thank you. Much appreciated. I think it's just a collection of letters. This is Pastor Troy. I've watched, I think he likes pasta. I've watched the fourth quarter of the Rams games and this game from a baggage claim at LAX and Manila. I think I should find one in 2 weeks. Please do. Make sure you have to be in an airport and you have to be where the bags come out when the next game begins. Please. It's your responsibility. You are the true MVP if you do it. Mr. Majopin says, get the trenches right and good things follow. I'll do one more for now and then we'll come back to the rest. This one from Nico. I'm definitely worried that we blew at least 13 points in the red zone. We're definitely trying hard to hide Darnold's gunslinging ways. He barely attempted anything over 20 yards tonight. Now, there's going to be some concerns about that, Robbie, but I have to say I'm not overly worried about it. No, I think they've just. I think you have to manage the game with him, Robbie. I think that's better than him turning the ball over all the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. and with the way the running game was going right now, I would take that, and just whatever's available for him. I mean, he's told me some great throws. I don't care if they were 10 yards down the field or 4 yards on the field, as long as he's moving the ball forward and not turning it over. That's all I really care about.
So I've brought this up just so we can have a look at who. Let's zoom in on the playoff picture. So let's just very quickly run through that. I'm going to say the Texans will win, the Cowboys will win, the Giants will chuck that game because they're playoff for draft seeded, I imagine. Bengals, give me a winner, Falcons or Saints, Robbie?
Give me Saints. Tyler Shuck's playing lights out.
Falcons playing well though. If the Saints win, the Bucks get in to the playoffs.
Yeah.
If the Falcons win, it's the Panthers. I thought the Panthers were really bad. We'll go Green Bay's in, aren't they? So they might rest players. Jags, Rams. I'll go Broncos, going from 1 seed. I'll go the Fighting Pete Carroll's win his last ever game. Patriots, Eagles. Do you think Bears or Lions, Robbie?
Give me the Bears.
Bills, and then who do you think is going to win the AFC North? I think the Ravens with Derrick
I think the Ravens, yeah.
Okay, so this is what we get. So this is if it does work out this way, Packers versus Bears. Does that change if the Packers win? No. So Packers versus Bears, Niners versus Eagles, Rams going to the Buccaneers. So I think that's really interesting if it works out that way, Robbie, because for a number of reasons. One, is it beyond the realms of possibility that the Packers could beat the Bears? No. The Packers should have beaten the Bears twice. And in the second meeting, they had Malik Willis playing and no Micah Parsons. And they should have won that game. They were an onside kick away from winning that game. So they should be 2-0. I don't think it's impossible that the Packers would beat the Bears. And if that happens, the Packers come to Seattle. So that's the first thing. So you're not playing any of the NFC West teams in the next round. Now, if the Bears win, you then look at the Niners. Can the Niners beat the Eagles? Robbie, on that evidence, I give the Niners virtually no chance of beating the Eagles. Do you agree with that based on what we saw tonight?
I mean, based on what we saw tonight, but I also look at what San Francisco did to Chicago.
I think the Eagles have got too good now, man. I think the Eagles' defense is too good.
Too good?
I think
I'm 50-50 on it. Yeah.
If it was in San Fran, I probably would have a different view. But the fact they've got to go to Philly as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so, they are pretty injured still. Okay, so yeah, I give it Eagles.
Now we can't play the Eagles in the divisional round, so they would go through, and they would play the Bears, wouldn't they? If the Bears beat the Packers, so then you're looking at so if the Eagles and the Bears both won, you would be then looking at whoever wins between the Bucks and the Rams would go to Seattle. This is kind of, for me, Robbie, maybe the worst case scenario, which is
the worst case scenario.
I'd probably be rooting for the Packers to win against the Bears, because I don't. It's not. There's like this terrifying thought of playing the Rams, but the Rams should have beaten you in Seattle. You should have beaten the Rams in LA, in my opinion. But the Rams have just come in. Puka Nacua just seems to catch anything that's in his vicinity. Stafford. The defense that Kyle Shanahan just got 3 points again, Matt Stafford had about 500 yards against. So that's tough. But I will say this, Robbie. For whatever reason, the Bucs just, when I was watching them today, I just looked at Baker Mayfield and I thought, I don't want to go there. Like they've got this kind of like horrible, just if Baker turns it on, Mike Evans, Vita Vea, they've got some linemen there. I don't know, man. Like that would have been a tough place to go, and you're flying across the country as well. And part of me just wonders whether, the Rams have shown they can lose to any. They lost to the Falcons last week. They've lost to the Panthers in the road. The Rams have shown they could lose. I'm not trying to talk myself into this, but I'm just not saying it. What I'm basically, it's not a given that they would beat the Buccaneers. So I think that would be an interesting game. But if it ended up like that, Robbie, who do you think? How do you see it going? You pick those 3 games for me.
I'm gonna say Bears are gonna beat Green Bay, Philly beat San Fran, and then the Rams beat the Bucs.
So Bears, Eagles, Seahawks, Rams.
Yeah.
I think they'd be the best. Well, they would be the best teams left in the NFC. They'd be the NFC's best, I think, left in the in effectively the semifinals. So, well, there you go. Look, if they beat the Rams in the divisional round, if they had to play them, that'd be a heck of that'd be a cause for celebration as well. Okay, before we get back to the super chats, the running backs today, Robbie, in a way you kind of think, where's that been all season? Like they ran so well. Do you think it was mainly the tiredness of the Niners defense and just the lack of players that they had? Or have we really stumbled across something here? Because they ran for 180 yards today, and there was no kind of like crazy quarterback running. Darnold got 9 yards on 6 carries. So it's 180 yards, and 174 of those yards came from your runners.
I mean, I don't know. They ran the ball well last week as well. So I wouldn't blame it just on the Rams, or I'm sorry, the Niners, injury. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, but I think they've started to pick it up the last couple of weeks. Sounds like they've been emphasizing, attacking the run game a little bit more. The only thing that makes me nervous is like last week, like we said, it was Charbonnet who was hot. This week was Walker. Like you just never know which one you're going to get in, right? And it sometimes it feels like, well, why are you leaving one player on when the other one seems to be running the ball better? But whatever's working for him, just keep doing it.
Yeah, if I thought Charbonnet was going to break the last tackle on the last run that they had, and go and take that in for 20 points to 3, and that would have been just such a much more worthy scoreline, I think. You mentioned Nick Mori. People keep commenting, Robbie. There's a few trolls doing the rounds, and they comment on all the videos that I do elsewhere, saying that I was like saying I don't want to draft Nick Mori and stuff like that, which is complete nonsense. Like I had a really high grade on Nick Mori. I relayed some concerns that people had, which were legit, and this was reported in a couple of places that
they were character concerns, right?
Yeah, there were some character concerns that he wasn't the easiest player to manage. Was basically the point of it. And I spoke to somebody who I trust who relayed exactly the same thing. So I verified that on my own and heard that was a thing. Now, credit to the Seahawks because they have been very firm on character, Robbie, and they pivoted here because they obviously saw a great opportunity with this unique player who they really wanted, and they're being rewarded for it. It was never a question of his talent or his uniqueness and his ability. Like, that's always been there. It was just about, the character stuff. And if people are wondering, well, you can talk about that now. He fell to the second round, everyone. Like, that was obviously the reason. Like, that's why he was there in round 2. Like, there's no point denying that or saying it. It was an accurate thing for us to talk about and think about pre-draft. That's why he fell. But having fallen, the Seahawks have made an inspired move to say, this is somebody that we still want to go and take a chance on. And what a pick it's turning out to be. He just adds something that most teams don't have. And we've seen players in the past, like Isaiah Simmons, who have got this kind of athleticism and build, who are maybe hybrid players, Robbie, but they don't play the same way that Nick Mori plays. Like he plays like Kyle Hamilton and Derwin James, but instead of running a 4-5, a 4-6, or a 4-7, he's running a 4-3.
As a massive human. He's a big guy, and he hits like a mad truck, right? And he's all over the place.
Well, Kyle Hamilton's a big guy. Like Derwin James are big guys, but they don't run like this.
Yeah.
The reason Derwin James fell to 17 was because he couldn't run that fast, and he had a few injury things. Kyle Hamilton couldn't run. He had a bad 40, so he lasted way longer than he should have done. And with Mori, he ran a 4-3. So like the upside is just through the roof. Like he could reset the position. Like he genuinely has got that potential. And if he keeps developing, Robbie, this is his rookie season. Like imagine how good he could be down the line. But he just adds like a different dimension to the defense, which is, the great, stout, solid defensive front, which does its job and just plays like those pit bulls we were talking about earlier. But to have somebody like him who can cover, who can sprint to the ball, who can drop, who can blitz, who will just pack a punch at a tackle, that's just a unique player, man. That's it. There aren't teams with that kind of a player. Teams look for him. San Fran tried to look for somebody like that, and Eric Reed many, many years ago when Harbaugh was coach. You can't find players like that, Robbie.
Nope, I agree. And I remember we talked a lot about him during the draft process, just about how, if they didn't draft him, it would have been because of character concerns that had nothing to do with his play at all. In fact, I think you said you even had a first-round grade on him. If it wasn't the character concerns, you'd had dropped him down. I remember that conversation clearly. So
I had it like I give very few players like legit first-round grades because that's how the teams operate. Like teams don't have like 25 first-rounders. Like I read a piece I didn't read a piece, so a headline on an ESPN article saying there's like 11 first-rounders next year, and I was like, yeah. Like you've really stretched it to find 11 there. Like I'd be surprised if teams have 11 legit first round grades on players in the next draft because it's not a good draft. So for me, he was like a fringe first rounder, like somebody who I would happily take in the first round, which typically means second half of round one. You feel comfortable taking a player like that because the first rounders will run out. And that's what they did. The Seahawks included. They took Gray Zabel at whatever they were picking, like 18 or whatever it was, or 20, 18, I think. And then when he was still there at the top of round two, they moved up for him. So I think it was, I just give all the praise to Seattle for making that trade up. Eric says, really stout stuff from a great Hawks team. Well earned number one. Stings as a Niner fan, but Seattle is really good. Happy with my Niners. Don't hate too much. Here's a beer on me to enjoy the win. Eric, really appreciate that. That's a classy. It's a classy response, and you didn't need to do a super chat, and I massively appreciate that you've done that. So I massively respect the Niners. I respect Kyle Shanahan. Fred Warner is my favorite non-Seahawk in the NFL as a player, based purely on how he plays and his talent. Love George Kittle, love Christian McCaffrey, respect Brock Purdy, Trent Williams. I wrote this down on the blog earlier. Like the Niners have pretty much drafted like a huge list of players that I've loved going into the draft over the last 10 years. So I really respect everything that you do, but I also have friends who are 49ers and they can be annoying sometimes. So I'm glad that we've won for that reason. But I am not going to include you in that discussion. I am going to say thank you and appreciate that's been a classy loser there. Romeo says, commission on my BFC winner bets. Fantastic. I think he means NFC winner, maybe. I don't know. Either way, thank you for that. Much appreciated. 480, love the pod. Who do you not want to face in the playoffs? For me, it's the Rams. Robbie?
Rams. Yeah, it's easy. It's the Rams.
What about Eagles? Defending champs?
I don't know. They just don't scare me as much. I feel like it'll be a low-scoring game, but
the reason I'd pick Rams over them is Stafford.
Yeah.
I don't. Jalen Hurts coming to Seattle doesn't worry me in the way that Stafford does, especially when he played like he did the other week. Max says, "Go Hawks, baby!" UK Seahawks fan here. I won £1,200. That's about $1,400, I think, on the Hawks West win. Amazing! Congratulations. That is unbelievable. Super Bowl, here we come, question mark. Rams only threat, says Max. That is a huge win. Well done. Andrew says, thanks for all the excellent coverage over the years. I'm in the same time zone as you, so don't normally watch games live at this time. Glad I don't have to work tomorrow. Superb owl is possible. Noah says, what a performance from the defense. We should have won by 30. Thanks for everything, Rob and Robbie. Can't wait for the divisional round. Go Hawks. Thank you, Noah. CCW, all the slobbering over Shanahan and San Fran. Sit down. Shout out to all the 12s everywhere. Thanks, Rob and Robbie. Let's finish LFG. Thank you, CCW. Graham says, greetings from Dublin. Staying up late. Loving it. Yeah, I think we all, those of us who have stayed up late, definitely feel like I'm going to struggle to get to sleep. Although I know I'm going to have to in about 15 minutes. Cluter says, absolutely love watching this defense play. They weren't just playing well. They were laying the hammer every play. Keep your finesse teams. Watching a dominant D is so enjoyable. Thanks, Rob and Robbie. I completely agree with that. Give me a hammer every time rather than finesse. Matthew says, awesome. The team finds a way to win and thrill, but maddening the mistakes still being made, making things harder than it has to be. Should have won 27-3. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an angle to this today. But I'm going to choose to ignore that tonight, probably. I don't know about you. I'm not going to worry about that too much.
I worried about it during the game. Once it was over, I'm fine.
Yeah. I worried enough about that during the game to worry.
I did.
Yeah. Josh says, wait until you see these locker room scenes. I can't wait, man. I love all that stuff. We've just got to, BAMF is the kind of the term that I use for a certain type of player. And you can work out what that stands for. And we just got an abundance of those kind of players now. I love the fact that Jaron Reed's the one at the front, like DeMarcus Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy. That's kind of the identity I want for a Seahawks team. If we get back the injured players in 2 weeks, Cross, Bryant, maybe Arroyo, we'll be even better. That's a good point there, Robbie, because they're expecting that Cross and Bryant will be back. I don't know if Arroyo will be back, but having Cross and Bryant back will be a boost.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah.
And they said they would be back next week if they were playing. So it's not even like it's touch and go after the bye. They were expecting them by this week. Yes, Super Sources him says Trey in the chat's true fan. Oh, so he's saying that
the guy Dan. Yeah. All right.
Oh wow. Listen, that's what a privilege to have you with us. I love that. Great. Man. That's crazy, man. What a night. Banks to 3 says, I'll criticize the short yardage management tomorrow. Today, it's Go Hawks. I like it. That's what I'm thinking. Number one baby says, Brenty from India. I wonder what time it is there. I bet it's even, I suppose it's quite decent the time over there. It's like about 10 a.m. So it's not too bad, actually. Just a nice early wake up for that game. Whoops, Washington State, he says. Oh, okay. So I don't know how he got, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he's had a beer. I don't know. Or something else. The Warhammer guy says, they doubted us against the Rams. They doubted us against the Niners. They predicted us in 4th place. They said Sam was a downgrade. Now they say nothing. Well, they should bloody say something, Robbie. This is my big bugbear. It was the worst off season ever. What were they doing swapping Gino for Sam? What's John Schneider doing signing these free agents? What are they doing drafting a guard in round 1 and then trading up for a safety? This was all it was, all off-season. The cool kids did not appreciate what the Seahawks were doing, Robbie. The cool kids look stupid now. The cool kids have got egg on their face. In fact, they've got an ostrich egg on their face. It's a dinosaur egg all over their face. Yeah. When are they going to come out and just say, yeah, actually, maybe I don't know as much as I thought I did. 8 months.
I want them to hear them come out and say, I don't know ball.
You don't know ball.
You don't know ball.
You don't know as much ball as you thought you did. I'm afraid. And the sad thing is, Robbie, is we would have heard about it every effing week if they were right. Like they would have gone on about the trade for Gino, if he was brilliant in Vegas. If Pete Carroll had been a success, they'd have gone on about that. If the Seahawks had been a bang average team, scrapping it out for the 7th seed again, there'd have been all the talk that they were. We've not heard a peep from these people. Like it's not even that it didn't work out in Vegas. They're going to be the number 1 pick next year. Speak up, man. Let's hear from these people. Come on. Take some crow. Yo, Big Dummy 123 says, teams are 5-11 after playing the Hawks. The Niners will lose next week. I think it's very easy to imagine that, given who they're playing as well. Washington Fish Quest says, I saw Brock Purdy's soul leave his body. He did
Especially
not
on that last set.
He did not look like he was enjoying that today.
Oh, no.
No way.
He was rough.
And Brett says, is Shaheed limited in his route tree, or does Darnold not trust him? Because I'm waiting for KK to seriously incorporate him more in the O to open it up. I think it's a perfect storm of them trying to manage the games, Robbie, and not turn the ball over. And that sort of impacting Shaheed's ability to get downfield. Because just not as if JSN's making the big downfield plays either. It's just like that element of the offense has gone. Now, I do think you probably have to bring it back at some point in the playoffs, but you've got 2 weeks to work on that now. You've got 2 weeks to cook up a downfield play or two for these players to challenge opponents. You've got plenty of time there. I do think they're going to have to find that explosive element to the passing game down the road, Robbie. But if you can play defense like this, why would you risk it? Like if you back your defense, you can run the ball and play defense and play point guard at QB. I've got no problem with that, Robbie, if they keep doing that.
And your running backs were averaging, like 8 yards a carry? Like, I'll take that.
Yeah. This one from Josh says, I wonder what DK, the grass is greener Metcalf is thinking now. It's a great point. He requested a trade, Robbie. I wonder if there's a lot of people thinking DK, Gino, Pete. I mean, we removed Pete, but it's kind of all of the things that were wrong with the end of the Pete era we're seeing in Vegas. Like it was the right thing to move on. I kind of, if anything, Robbie, I think this might be an epiphany moment for Pete Carroll to think, yeah, do you know what? I can't hold it. If he does, I'm not saying he does hold a grudge, but if he did, he might think, yeah, do you know what? Fair play. It's kind of worked. I mean, I'm sure he'll be rooting for the Seahawks in the playoffs. I mean, he had such a great run in Seattle. I can't imagine that he's going to be like thinking ill of anything there. But this new head coach, he's done a great job, Robbie, hasn't he? Like this is to craft this identity for his team in such a short space of time. That's really impressive from him.
Yeah.
Should he be coach of the year?
Maybe. I think he should be at least in the discussion. I don't know if he would be.
So I was leaning towards Shanahan until this game. You can't give it Shanahan now. He's done a great job with the injuries, but you can't give it him now. The candidates for me would be New England.
Yeah.
Vrabel. I mean, that's an enormous turnaround.
That's who I would have picked because, I mean, that's a huge turnaround. Huge.
Sean Payton. Liam Cohen. I think Liam Cohen has to be in the mix.
He has to be. I mean, he's done a great job in Jacksonville.
Ben Johnson.
No.
I think Ben Johnson has to be in the conversation, but I think Liam Cohen is a sneaky underrated. Like the Jaguars by tomorrow could be a 13-win team. Who saw that coming? And nobody saw that coming. So I think he has to be in the conversation there. Vrabel, probably favorite in my view. I mean, Sean Payton would have to be in the conversation too, but I think between Vrabel and Mike McDonald, and I don't know how many people thought New England would be the worst team in the AFC East. People were legitimately predicting the Seahawks were going to be the fourth team in the NFC West, below the Cardinals, man. So I think McDonald's got a strong case there. This one here from XML Viking. Just no message, but just a nice super chat there. I think we'll call it a day there, Robbie, because you've probably got some celebrating you want to do, and I need to go to bed because it's 4:50 in the morning. I thought the game had finished about now, so this is a bonus for me to I'm getting an extra half an hour in bed here. I probably should just maybe stick a few words on the blog before I go, but I mean, have you got any final thoughts, Robbie? It's a great night to be a Seahawks fan. Just an absolutely fantastic night to be a Seahawks fan.
Yeah, man, I'm much just excited. Number 1 seed, first round bye. NFC West champs again. That just feels good. It feels like life is good again. To be a Seahawks fan, it feels great.
I mean, when your sports team is doing well, it just gives you that extra bit of an energy boost, doesn't it? It makes, when there are tough things going on in your life or in your job or whatever it is, being able to sort of think about a game or a performance like this or success for your team can get you through a day like that or a week like that or even a month, a year. It really can. So It is great, and I'm sure everyone's going to be enjoying it. I'd much rather be in Seattle tonight, probably in a bar somewhere, than heading to bed to go to work. But I just enjoy it, everybody, and 2 home games. You're going to win 2 home games now
to
to
go to
get
the
back to
Super
the Super
Bowl.
Bowl. Something I didn't know if we'd ever say that again, Robbie. Like
Yeah.
you'd start to wonder, like, is that ever going to happen again? Is it like a one era and done for us with the LOB? And please win these next 2 games, man. Just get us back to that big dance one more time. The Rams and the Niners have been there. It's I want us to be there now. Final couple of super chats have come in from Chris. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Cameron. He says, laugh my ass off. JSN told or not, it's hard to respond to all these fans. That's quite funny. If he legitimately did say that, that is a fantastic retort after you've won the game. First of all, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who sent super chats in. I mean, to have 54 of them in total is crazy. So thank you. I'm massively appreciative of that and grateful. I'm really grateful to everybody who's watched this live, because I think we've probably set a new record today for live views. I mean, I can't remember how many there were when Pete Carroll got fired and Matt McDonald got hired, but that would have been up there, certainly looking at people watching it live. Thank you to everybody who has followed the blog and everything like that. And let's just enjoy the next 2 weeks. Let's enjoy the next 2 weeks and then get ready for the playoffs with the Seahawks, NFC West Champions again, and the #1 seed in the NFC. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. We'll have all of the reaction, maybe a few extra streams during the playoffs and everything, because there's going to be so much going on. Please do subscribe, like the video. When we finish the stream, if you're on if you have got a device like a phone or an iPad or anything like that, go on to YouTube app, hype the video as well. That will help get more eyes and ears on it. I think I've got everything there. SeahawksDraftBlog.com for more analysis. Bump and Stacey on Tuesday. I'll be on Seattle Sports with that. Seahawks Collective on Tuesday night as well. Puck Sports on Wednesday. Wow. Go and celebrate. Seahawks #1 in the NFC. Robbie, as always, really appreciate your time, man. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.